And now it's time for Make It Happen with David Lorms. He is an award-winning insurance expert, best-selling author, and business owner talking about how to make your life, your career, and business better. Here's David.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us again for another episode of Make It Happen. I'm really excited today because I've got a very exciting guest, Bryan Kiser, who is a professional gymnastics coach, a personal trainer, a business developer, and a best-selling author. And he is here to help us learn how to make it happen for us, because he certainly has and is doing it. Welcome, Bryan. Glad you're here.
Thanks for having me, Dave.
Man, I have to say, just by looking at you, you look like a very fit, big guy. That's pretty cool. And in your book, you wrote about how you applied that kind of theory of working out and training and discipline to better your life, business, and what have you. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Yeah, I wrote in the book basically, because people were coming to me all the time when I was in the gym. I was a competitive bodybuilder for a while, and I also had a really large gymnastics team. And then I moved over into the business side of gymnastics. And while I was in the gym, people would come to me and ask me, well, okay, I want to get healthier. I need to improve here, and I need to improve here. And I would point out to them, well, if you improve this, then it'll improve that and that and that. But there's certain questions that you need to ask yourself before you get started down that path. Like if you're going to start an exercise regime, ask certain questions to yourself, and then start asking those around you that are really important to you, because working out and being healthy is kind of a self-satisfying thing, self-gratifying thing. So the more you internalize it and just do it for you, then to some of the others in your life, that will be a way of pushing them away.
Right.
So there were some questions I brought up in the book where, what is it? What is your end result? What is it you're looking for out of becoming healthy? And then by knowing what you wanted and what you wanted to become, then you could go back and kind of talk to those people in your life, look at your business and your work and your different aspects that already occur in your life, and pick a fitness regimen or a sport or an activity or something that would fit without disrupting but complement what was already happening.
Well, I think it's very interesting, because to me that means goal setting, basically.
Yeah.
And, in high school, you talk about in the book that that's what you were thinking already. Not many people have that mindset that early. What do you think contributed to that? What kind of past did you have that set you up for that at such a young age?
Well, I was a gymnast, and I had several coaches, high caliber, low caliber.
When did you start gymnastics?
I started that when I was 5.
Okay, well, that's discipline right
there. And
then
I haven't totally retired, but I've semi-retired from coaching on the 31st of May.
Really?
Yeah, so 26, 27 years of coaching. But going back to what led me to that is I love surfing. I loved working out, and I loved all these things, but I lived in a small coastal town in Texas called Portland, Texas. Mm-hmm. And we would go, right there's the Gulf, so we'd go surfing all the time. The waves would come in, we'd go surfing. We'd go down to Port Isabel, go surfing, even into Mexico, go surfing. And so I equated life, even then, to waves. Because
right.
People kept on telling me, cycle, you're going to cycle this. We learned about economic cycles and business cycles and relationship cycles. And I was like, it's a wave. It's a wave. And so, today, if you go and look at any of my websites and any of the stuff, and even the stuff that I wrote in the book is, find your wave, find that perfect wave and surf the hell out of it.
Right.
Ride it till you just can't get any more, and then go to the next wave.
Right.
Now, I've amended that a little bit, because if you truly find, and I've figured out over years here, if you truly find that perfect wave, then that wave will fuel your passions and your energies.
Right.
And provide a never-ending wave for you and those around you.
I believe that.
I really, that's been an amendment. In fact, I have that coming out in a free ebook that will be completed. It's with the editor right now, so that'll be completed shortly, and then we'll be able to put that out there. But that's the amendment to the initial 1991 yearbook, because I just couldn't bring myself to, I'll see you in a few years. I hope we meet again. That wasn't me. Instead, it was like, hey, live, laugh, and love.
Right.
Find your perfect wave, surf the hell out of it until the next one comes along.
Well, that's pretty wise for someone at that age, I have to say. I was not thinking that then myself.
Hey, I didn't know what I was thinking at the time. It just came to me like, hey, dude, that's what you should write. That's what I did.
But setting goals and finding your passion in life as a graduate of high school, I think, is pretty wise for someone of that age. And I have to, plug your book here, Change Agents, that came out last September. You co-authored with Brian Tracy. Became a bestseller the day that it was released.
Yeah. 7 categories, I believe. We got 7 categories
on
out
Amazon,
of that.
right? It ranks number 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's the highest, and it was great. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So for me, when I read your chapter, I was very interested in seeing what you had to say about finding your vision for life, and once you found that vision, how you could incorporate that into your health or your business or whatever. Can you expand a little bit on that?
Yeah, that's, now I've moved from coaching gymnastics into business coaching. So that clarity of purpose, that finding the reason for why you do what you do and why you love what you do, and also defining and clarifying who you do that for is something I didn't realize that I did naturally. But as I, even writing the book, at the time I wrote the book, that chapter, didn't fully understand what that really meant until I started actually working a little bit more with my coach and a couple other coaches to dig down a little deeper and find out what that truly means. But when you start on a path and you start getting healthier, let's take the health, you get healthier, and you're doing something, you're setting a regimen. You're setting certain goals. They're small, they may be large, but you're going to have benchmarks at which you're going to, achieve things.
Right.
Well, you take that same principle and you flip it over. Okay, in my business, I want to be here at the end of the year, and so these are the benchmarks I've got to achieve to get there. Okay, at the end of this period of time, I want to ask this person to be my life partner. So these are the benchmarks that I need to see in this relationship, and I need to get feedback from them that we're in the same place, so that at this point I can go ahead and make that a reality. So every part in life boils down to that clarity. What are you really looking for out of what you're doing, so you can be real clear in setting goals that actually mean something.
I think that's very powerful. To me, it seems kind of simple. Why do you think that so many people miss that boat?
Well, I think that's because you start talking about goal setting. There's a lot of people that, even athletes, even pro athletes, there's people that they've always had someone do it for them.
Right.
So they've never sat down with themselves in an empty room, just them and the deity they believe in, and find out what it is they want.
Right.
And then be able to take that from in their mind, thinking about it, and put it down on a piece of paper and say, I would like to be.
Right.
I am going to do. And so if they can't do that because someone else has already dictated it to them, then they find themselves, listening to a lot of opinions. And, we were talking off air. There's a lot of opinions out there of what people should do and shouldn't do, and how they should do it, and why they should do it. So you take all those opinions. Well, some people take the opinion, well, my dad said I ought to be a doctor, so I'm going to be a doctor.
Right.
Although, you know what I'd really love to do? I'd really love to be a surfer and go around the world finding cool waves to ride.
Yeah.
Well, so you go be a doctor, and you're miserable in life, and then from that point, you can't set goals because everything's going to be set for you, because what does a doctor do?
Right.
You grow a practice, okay.
What do you think comes first, goal setting or finding your passion?
Finding your passion, finding yourself, find out who you are, and defining where you are right now. Like,
Right.
where are you at this point in time?
Right. What do you think the best process is to find that? What would you recommend to someone like me if I didn't know those things? How would I get started? How would I get over the intimidation of determining that?
Well, we as coaches, we have different questions and questionnaires and things that kind of draw out information and kind of give us an idea, and then you have to go through either by yourself, which is going to give you, I'd hate to say, is going to give you one answer,
Right.
or you can go through it with a coach or a mentor. You can go through the same process, and you'll probably get the real answer when you go through it with the coach and the mentor, because once you are honest with that person, you're going to open up and tell them things, and they're going to be able to derive from what you're saying and kind of reformulate what your thoughts are,
Right.
so that it becomes clear to you, and you'll be, aha, yes, that's me.
I'm someone who really believes in having a mentor or a business coach, someone like you. What kind of recommendations would you make to someone, either as they are starting a new business or starting a new career, or just trying to elevate their life to the next level? How would they go about finding these people?
Well, first off, in the coaching world, the word coaching has become almost overused. So even using the word business coach, that's what I am, that's what I do. But I have to go further with all the things that I teach people, all the activities, the successes, the failures, everything else, I've already done and been there. So it wasn't a weekend course. It wasn't a 2-week seminar. It wasn't, I didn't just go one weekend and come back and I was a coach. This came as a process through many years of going through trial and error and learning from a lot of different people. So when you go find a coach, you probably want to find one that has been around, not just in one industry, probably. I called it bouncing around. And
Right.
One of the articles I wrote in LinkedIn, I called it, you kind of bounce around. Well, it's not bouncing around, it's learning.
Right.
And, my problem even in high school, when I wrote that, I was coaching gymnastics and I love to coach gymnastics, but I jumped out of gymnastics for 3 years and went and sold water treating equipment. Then I came back to gymnastics and I did that. And then I jumped out of gymnastics and I had a gym. I sold that and went into recruiting, and I was a recruiter for a while, and then I came back and I did coaching for a little bit longer, and then I jumped into some, and it's just been a pattern of all these things till one day someone said, "You know what you're really good at?" And I said, "No, what?"
Right.
And they said, "Coaching. You're really good at coaching. You're really good at training, teaching, mentoring, instructing, guiding, connecting." And that's kind of what I would tell somebody if they're looking for a coach, is find someone that is truly been down the path and doesn't just use a book or a template, but has actual real world knowledge of things that are going to happen.
That's something that I really like about you and admire about you, is you've lived it. You've experienced it. And you can share that with people and help them with their lives, businesses, or careers because of your own experience. It makes me feel more comfortable to come to someone like you than someone who just professes to be a coach, but they don't have the experience to back it up.
Right.
So I have to say that folks really should check out your website at bryankiser.me. That's BRYANKISER.me to find out a little bit more about what you do.
Exactly.
And then they can find your book on Amazon, Change Agents, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Where they can read a little bit and follow you on Twitter and LinkedIn and Facebook and all that kind of good stuff, right?
Oh yeah, everywhere, everywhere. I even got a skills page now, so I'll be on my skills pages. So yeah, every social media outlet, I'm there.
Right. Well, you've got a lot of great information, and it's easily found, and it's free.
That's right.
So it's good for people
Bob is free.
to know that. So next, before we go to commercial break, we'll talk a little bit more about your book and your history and see if we have any questions. If people have questions for Bryan, you can tweet me at DavidL2490 or send me a private message on Facebook, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Make It Happen with David Lorms is sponsored by Houston City Living Leasing and Realty. If you're looking to buy a house, sell your house, or lease a space, please give them a call at 281-845-4425 or visit them at houstonhcl.com.
Left-hander Tristan Gray looks to get things going against him here in the sixth. First pitch hit high and deep into the air, right field. Back at the wall, looking up, it's gone! Tristan Gray in the bottom of the sixth inning ties this one up at 3. Just like that deep home run, we blast off every Wednesday at 2 p.m. here on Chin Music, sponsored by Damian Walker at Freddie Kia, Fort Bend's premier all-baseball show. Check us out on KBRZSports.com and follow us on Twitter at FB Chin Music.
This is M.A. Pape, and I'm inviting you to join Aston Gene Lewis and I every Thursday at 4 p.m. for the Fort Bend Playbook.
These guys are very versatile. They're very skilled players. And, I mean, at the end of the day, these guys are very good on defense. And this offense can pretty much run anything you tell them to.
He has been ranked the #1 second baseman in the state of Texas. The Fort Bend Playbook every Thursday at 4 p.m. at KBRZSports.com. Because of its Fort Bend ISD athletics, we've got it covered.
Do you trust your insurance agent? Hi, my name is David Lorms. Anyone can sell you insurance, but I have the unique perspective and experience of being a former claims professional. It's when you need to use your insurance that you really depend on a seasoned professional where customer satisfaction is number one. I can be reached at 713-688-8669, and all calls are rolled to my personal cell phone after hours. You can also visit lormsinsuranceservices.com. Hey, I have to sleep at night, so I need to make sure you're covered.
KBRZ Sports Radio strives to bring our listeners the most up-to-date, comprehensive high school varsity sports coverage available in the Fort Bend County area. We're committed to providing the latest news and information on standings, statistics, schedules, team and school information, as well as community-focused programs. Our programs allow our advertisers the opportunity to share information about their products and services with our audience. Advertisers can target their ideal customers, build brand awareness and customer loyalty, grow their businesses, and partner with a company that is rooted and committed to the Fort Bend County community. For advertising information, call Russ Johns at 206-930-7440 or log on to www.kbrzsports.com.
Tired of going to the same restaurants every week? Want to know what new eateries have opened up recently? Tune in to the Food Rampage as Dominique and Priya dish about their favorite restaurants. Catch us live every Tuesday at 3 p.m. on KBRZSports.com and iHeartRadio for the live show. Be sure and follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook at Food Monsters. Join us as we rampage through the Houston area.
And we're back with Make It Happen by David Lorms with our guest today, Bryan Kiser, who has a very impressive resume that supports his profession of being a business developer, a business coach, personal trainer, personal gymnastics coach, and a best-selling author with a book that we were talking about in the earlier segment. Gosh, Bryan, you've got a lot of things that you really should be proud of, and I'm sure you are, but I'm talking about some of your awards for gymnastics and the people that you've helped, such as the former lightweight world champ, Juan.
Well, he's actually making a comeback now. I think he has 3 of the world championship belts back.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was it like to work with him?
I got to work with him in his Golden Gloves years, so just not to confuse anybody. I haven't worked with him since he's been a pro. I do know him. I'm good friends with his trainer, Brian Caldwell, is one of my good friends. But I got to work with him and his brother, Jose, when they were doing the Golden Gloves, and Juan was, I believe, undefeated in the Golden Gloves all the way up to where he made the switch and became pro.
Wow.
And I remember we used to train at the Jewish Community Center in Houston. They would come in there. We'd go to a gym that we termed the dungeon, because it was kind of in this back room. It is internal to the JCC, and it was quiet. We could play whatever music. And these guys, we'd go through workout routines where these guys would just push it to the limit every single workout. And that's the kind of guy Juan is. He's real humble, very personable, very just well-rounded. But you get him in the ring, or you get him in the gym, and he's totally focused, totally go-getter. I mean, and he attacks everything in life kind of that way. He's, I believe, if he hasn't finished, he's near finishing law school at U of H. So
really,
yeah, he's a very brilliant kid. And like I said, he's grown up now. He's I believe he's got the championship belts back. So
wow,
yeah, that was really cool.
I bet it was.
It's been cool to follow his transformation from a kid to an early pro to world champion to making the loss to Marquez, and then now he's on the road back to being great fighter once again. And I don't know what his end goal is. I haven't talked to him about that. So, but it is cool to follow his career and everything. And I still have one of his original Baby Bull Diaz T-shirts from like one of his first pro fights. So yeah, I keep some of these souvenirs. Yeah, probably be worth some $1 million or something. I don't know.
Well, he should call you for
yeah, exactly,
help for finding out where he wants to go. Because before the break, we were talking about how you were really saying that people needed to get clarity, find their energy and their influence to help them be successful.
Right.
And we also talked about how there are some people that have a fear of success. Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Yeah, kind of an interesting topic, really, because off the air we were chatting a little bit about it, but I've actually found, like I said, from the book to today, then there's been a lot of things that I have experimented with, tried, all staying within the framework of what I like, but I haven't clarified what I do or what I want to do to anyone until recently. And then upon doing that, I found out that there's some people that they're not so friendly anymore. They're not so forthcoming with ideas and all this kind of stuff, and it's kind of, taken back. And then I always relate everything to athletics. And I can remember having athletes that were just super talented, and they would tell you verbally that they wanted to be an Olympic champion.
Right.
When in reality, they wanted nothing to do with that at all, because once you got to that level, there's expectations.
Right.
And they're undefined expectations.
Sure.
And once you start living, we're talking about being successful. Well, once you start defining success, like to you and to Eric, our producer over here, when you start defining what you see as success, well, along with that definition is an expectation, whether said or unsaid. You have an expectation of that person to be and act and do certain things because they're at a certain level.
Right.
Well, some people don't want to be at that level. They would like the income of that level. They would like the perks that come from that level, and they protrude every day that that's where they're headed that way, when in reality they have no wanting or desire to really be that. They just want to get to a comfort level, and then it'll look like success to the outer world, but it really won't be the true success that they could reach, because with that becomes another set of expectations, undefined, unknown, but they're expectations. So.
And this is where I think you speak to clarity, because subconsciously, I think, maybe I'm wrong, these people have fear of success, but they don't realize it. No. It's something subconscious. So if you had clarity, that might help them determine, well, I'm really afraid of success and I don't want to be, so what are the steps would you recommend someone, once they determine that they take to get over that fear?
Well, just going through the process to clarify who you are. Clarify why you do what you do.
Going back to those basic questions that you said.
It's those very simple, and you're going to have to revisit them as I've gone through with my coach and everything. You'll revisit those same exact questions over and over and over again, because it takes a while for you to actually live and experience enough to be able to come up with a definition, a clear reason, a clear purpose for why you do what you do.
Right.
And, like you were talking about fear. Well, if you can't be clear who you are as a person,
right,
and knowing that who you are is a culmination of all those waves, all those paths, all those experiences in life, all those things that brought you to today.
Right.
And they're the reason and they're the purpose of why you do what you do, whether you want to admit it or not. Well, once you clarify that, who you are, then you find a change in energy, you find a change in a lot of things, but you also find out that there's nothing to be scared of.
Right.
Because the expectation is internal to you,
right,
not something that's really out there that you're thinking.
You put the pressure on yourself.
Yeah,
you're afraid that if you're successful, you're setting the bar, and there's no room for failure. And if you did fail, you would lose everything. And that's simply not the truth, because don't you think that successful people have failures? And they turn them into successes in some way or form or fashion.
And you follow several people, Brendan Bouchard,
right?
You're friends with Dennis Magoo,
right?
And they'll teach that fear and failure is something that if you don't go through those, you will not be successful.
You have to have it.
You can't. It doesn't. It's not just a golden street walk all the way to quote unquote success. You're gonna have to fail, because that helps define and clarify you.
So your message is about finding your passion in life, your clarity, and then set some goals. And those two things right there are going to help build the energy that you need to attain success, and then influence how your life is going to be. Make those changes, take those steps, almost kind of like build it and they will come, right? You have to have a leap of faith in somewhere. Would you say that?
Yeah, I would definitely say that there's a lot of faith in there. And to some of the people that we follow, they're really into the law of attraction. And the law of attraction really is a powerful thing if you understand it and you understand how it applies in your life and applies to you and applies to what you want in life. Then you can apply. And the first step of even thinking about utilizing any of that is clarify who you are and where you are today, so you can kind of set a goal for tomorrow. Because it's easy to say I want to be an Olympian. Well, yeah, you want to be an Olympian, but do you want to do the work that's involved to get there?
Exactly.
And then you have expectations internally that you think everyone else is going to be putting on you,
right?
When in reality, those are your own internal expectations that you just don't know.
I think a lot of us, at least I can speak for myself, experience fear as a business owner. I do. But what I have learned is just what you're saying. Once you find your passion, it kind of just follows you. It just kind of, your fear just kind of dissipates, because you see, wow, you turn around and you go, wow, I'm already on the path. I'm so much further on the path. I was afraid to get on it.
Right.
But now look, and sometimes you can look back at your success and realize, wow, I've really applied some of these theories that you're talking about: clarity, energy, and influence, and getting over your fear of success. Wouldn't you say that?
Yeah, and when you clarify that purpose, when you find that reason, there's one of my favorite quotes from the movie The Secret: energy flows where attention goes.
I like that.
So if you're not going to put it in the right place, it ain't going to go where you want to go in life.
Fascinating stuff. We'll be back with Bryan in just a minute. If you want to tweet your questions, I'm at DavidL2490, or you can private message me on Facebook. And we will be back with more with Bryan in just a moment. Make It Happen with David Lorms is sponsored by Houston City Living Leasing and Realty. If you're looking to buy a house, sell your house, or lease a space, please give them a call at 281-845-4425 or visit them at HoustonHCL.com.
Are you looking for a new vehicle in the near future? If so, be sure to contact Damian Walker over at Freddie Kia. Damian went to the University of Houston and is from Houston. He is Houston through and through. If you're looking for a new vehicle, contact Damian at Freddie Kia. His number is 713-499-9372. No unnecessary upsells, no bells and whistles you don't want, just a car that's perfect for you. Contact Damian Walker at Freddie Kia today, 713-499-9372.
Looking for a way to be involved in Fort Bend ISD varsity sports? Want to sponsor a team, game, or hear your child's name mentioned during a Fort Bend ISD varsity game? KBRZ Sports can broadcast your business or personal message for a reasonable price. Contact our sales department at www.kbrzsports.com for more information on how you can be part of Fort Bend ISD Sports. KBRZ Sports, connecting Fort Bend County business owners, families, and Fort Bend ISD varsity sports. Performance Pilates and GTC Gym and Training Center in Greatwood are your answer to getting spring break swimsuit ready. We offer private and small group personal training and Pilates classes. GTC now with 24-hour access. Call 281-224-0013. More information at greatwoodtrainingcenter.com or performance-pilates.com. Texas.
KBRZSports.com is your home for Fort Bend ISD varsity sports, all Sugarland Scooters away games, Fort Bend Playbook, Fort Bend Spotlight, Coach's Corner with Fort Bend ISD Athletic Director Philip O'Neill, Fort Bend Food Rampage, and Skeeter Nation. Check back often at KBRZSports.com for the latest scheduled events, activities, and outings in the Fort Bend community. KBRZ Sports, kids, communities, and commerce.
Texas Community Referral Network is all about the community. Have access to the best businesses on our local websites and numerous money-saving offers on our free mobile app. Go to tcrnhouston.com to find your community website and visit your mobile app store to install the free TCRN app and start saving today. TCRN, connecting you with the community.
Coming round lies have a funny way of coming back to haunt you.
And we're back with Bryan Kiser, professional gymnastics coach, personal trainer, business developer, business coach, championship, best-selling author. What do you not do?
Well, if you talk to people that know me, I don't like to do dishes very often.
Well, I'm kidding.
I'm not very good at work at washing the clothes because I'm colorblind, so yeah, that messes up things.
Well, we were talking before we went to the break about your message of clarity, energy, and influence, and helping people get over the fear of success, which I think is pretty powerful. But you were telling me during the break that helping people, even though it seems simple, come to terms with that can sometimes be a lengthy process. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think because you did certain things in life because you were told. You went to school and you were told, you had to study hard, you had to do these things so that you could get a job. Right. And then you picked your, after high school, you picked your discipline and you went and got educated in a discipline and you came out and you tried to, fit into that discipline. I think when everyone tries to fit themselves into a box, then sometimes it's a little hard. And after you've been working in the box for a while, and that's kind of been the message all the time, you do this, you have to do that, you have to do another thing, it's hard to step back and say, okay, wait a second, somewhere on the path of being told I needed to do X, Y, and Z, I lost myself, and I've got to go back and retrace my steps a little bit and find out where I dropped me off and I became the person I am now, which the person I am now is not happy. They don't have any energy. They don't have a passion for what they do. They don't have the relationships. They're not in the health they want to be. They're not doing what they want to do, but right. They don't know what that is because, who they are has kind of been muddled by what was kind of directed at them to become or to be.
What I loved what you said during the break was basically, if people aren't being authentic, if they're not being themselves, no matter whether it was a cultural difference, an education difference, mannerisms, what have you, that they should be themselves and not to conform to what they think people want, that's really going to help you find clarity in your vision and happiness, really.
Mm-hmm. Well, and if you're not honest about those simple things about yourself,
right?
Those very simple things. What do I believe? What do I like? What do I not like? How was I raised? What is the cultural traditions that I would go through? If you can't be honest and just do those because that's part of you,
right?
Then you can't be honest about the rest of it, and you can't put energy into those things because it's always going to be half-hearted.
And who wants to be like everyone else? I mean, I think people should embrace their uniqueness. That's going to make them more memorable and stand out in people's minds and make them more happy, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. And in today's society, we're not we don't get up and go to work every day and sell products and services.
Right.
We don't do that. That's not the society we live in right now.
Right.
The traditions and fundamentals of business are pretty much the same as they were, but we have this new thing called technology and these social advances and these social things that we have going on. So if you're not going to be authentic and you're not going to let people know who you are, then you're not going to attract people that want to listen to you, right? Because they're not going to know what you know or what you have or who you are could actually solve a problem that they have in their life.
Right. So what I'm hearing you say today, and it just goes right hand in hand with the book Change Agents that's available on Amazon that she co-authored with Brian Tracy, is that people have to get over their fear of success. And by doing that, they have to be clear in what they want to do. They've got to find their passion and then plan steps to make it happen. So those people who say, I'll never go to school because I can't afford it, so they don't try, really are missing the boat, because if you determine what you want to do and you set the plan and then you act on it, they're more likely to go to school than not, right? Wouldn't you say?
Definitely. And if you look at some of the success stories and people that you've met, Nito Cobain,
right?
Those guys came over here to America with just thought in their mind, somehow I'm going to have the American dream. I'm going to be somebody.
Right.
Probably didn't think that he would be, best-selling author, running one of the top universities in the country. And, he probably didn't have that thought in his mind, but he came over here and he knew that he was going to do these things. And so anyone that says that they can't do, then you have to wonder why people that came over here with $5 in their pocket, why all of a sudden they're, and not to put a price on it, but you can kind of, something that people can relate with, why are they billionaires now? Right. And you're still sitting at home saying, well, I could have done that if. I should have done that when. And instead, it's now, it's today. It's sit down and define those things. And funny you talk about the energy part and the clarity part and also the fear. You put those three together. Without the clarity of who you are, then you also have an ancillary part of that is who's around you also is affected by you not being authentic, because by you being a little less than, then the energy you're giving them is less than.
Right.
And the energy that if you're working with them on anything, that energy is kind of stifled, and it just is a continual downer for everyone that's involved. So
you're saying you should hang around people that have similar aspirations or goals or theories on life, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Not only that, but if you clarify your who you are and you clarify your vision for where you're going,
yes,
then you're going to naturally feed the people around you energy.
Right.
For that. And they'll make a decision if that fits their vision and they want to be part of it. But without you clarifying who you are and sharing that and be able to tell people about it and kind of have the energy flow out of you, then no one can be attracted to you and no one can join in on being a part of or not being a part of your vision. It just is a job.
Right.
They come and show up for a paycheck.
That's true. I'll say for me as a business owner, I feed off the energy and excitement and fresh ideas off other business owners.
Yeah.
So that have the same kind of mentality, the same, let's grow, let's be better, let's do more. But if you're hanging around someone who is happy with the status quo, doesn't really have a plan of action, and maybe even being just talk negative and don't realize it, that's not someone I really want to hang out with, because I don't want to be taken down.
No. And, another scenario is hanging around with somebody that, and I know you have friends like this, because I have people, and I don't know, loose term friends, that come in, and this week, this is the best thing going. This is the greatest thing since, the automobile. And then 2 weeks later, they're back at your doorstep. Hey, guess what? Now it's this. This is the best thing. So those people are very unclear.
Right.
And what they do is they see themselves never getting anywhere while you keep going, and you kind of, grow away from them naturally. But at the same time, you have to sit back and go, wow, I wonder what they're going through, what struggles they're having, and how you could help them along. But in helping them, you got to make sure that they're not going to be a drag, like a dead weight.
Right. Now, I believe this, and tell me if you do. It's not often that there's a silver bullet to success. It takes a steady pace, wouldn't you say? I mean, there are circumstances that have the silver bullet, but tell me what you think about that.
Well, I think that even in the silver bullet case, if you go back and look at what brought them to the silver bullet,
right,
it's the same journey.
Right.
It's the same struggle. Sure. It's the same. They went through the same things that all of us do in one way or another. And that journey, that struggle, and it's just like an athlete or an entrepreneur.
Right.
That's why I can equate those two very simply, because, the athlete did not wake up one morning and have a $200 million contract with NFL. Okay, there was a journey and a struggle there, and he had a lot of help on the way. And an entrepreneur is the same way. They had a journey and a struggle, and there was a lot of people that helped them on their way, whether it be a client, a friend, a coach, a mentor, a family member, but they struggled to get to where, bam, there's a silver bullet.
Right. And I want to mention to the people that are listening that success is measured different by different people, whether it's money or position or family time or whatever. We all have success in our life. It's just how it's measured. And I'd like for you to tell me, how can you help people, and what is a good client for you? Who is someone that you can help with what you have to offer as a business coach and your background?
Well, I focus on the three areas of clarity, energy, and influence. Those are my three areas that I really love, and I like working with entrepreneurial startups. And that's not the solopreneur type person. That's someone that has a vision of growing a business, whether it has employees or whether it has people that share the vision. It's an entrepreneurial startup. There's going to be more than one person involved. And then small business owners are small to mid-sized businesses where they're kind of stuck. They've been in a pattern for a period of time, and they just can't seem to break through the pattern.
Right.
So they just have to go back and redefine who they are as a company, who they are as individuals, and kind of re-energize themselves.
If I can relate that to an example, it's kind of like you're living your life every day. You're getting up, going to work, going home, going to sleep, and you see a friend and they go, "Hey, what's new?" And you think, nothing is new.
And that's not a good thing.
It's not a good thing. So if nothing new is happening, you don't have the clarity, you don't have the energy, you're not influencing change in your life, and that's what you need.
And you're probably not growing. You're probably not growing either as an individual, a professional, a father, a friend, a husband, a wife. You're probably not growing. Because
time goes by pretty quickly.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. As the dad of a 15-and-a-half-year-old, I can tell you, it went by really fast.
Yeah, it does go by fast.
Now he wants a car.
Oh, Lord. Okay. Well, I think that what we'd like to do is take and answer some questions from Twitter. So after the break, we'd like you to tweet your questions. or tweet your questions, at DavidL2490 or private message me on Facebook, and we'll have Bryan answer your questions on air. So send them away, and we'll be right back in a minute. Make It Happen with David Lorms is sponsored by Houston City Living Leasing and Realty. If you're looking to buy a house, sell your house, or lease a space, please give them a call at 281-845-4425 or visit them at houstonhcl.com.
Tired of going to the same restaurants every week? Want to know what new eateries have opened up recently? Tune in to the Food Rampage as Dominique and Priya dish about their favorite restaurants. Catch us live every Tuesday at 3 p.m. on KBRZsports.com and iHeartRadio for the live show. Be sure and follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook at Food Monsters. Join us as we rampage through the Houston area.
Do you trust your insurance agent? Hi, my name is David Lorms. Anyone can sell you insurance, but I have the unique perspective and experience of being a former claims professional. It's when you need to use your insurance that you really depend on a seasoned professional where customer satisfaction is number one. I can be reached at 713-688-8669, and all calls are rolled to my personal cell phone after hours. You can also visit lormsinsuranceservices.com. Hey, I have to sleep at night, so I need to make sure you're covered.
Looking for a way to be involved in Fort Bend ISD varsity sports? Want to sponsor a team, game, or hear your child's name mentioned during a Fort Bend ISD varsity game? KBRZ Sports can broadcast your business or personal message for a reasonable price. Contact our sales department at www.kbrzsports.com for more information on how you can be part of Fort Bend ISD Sports. KBRZ Sports, connecting Fort Bend County business owners, families, and Fort Bend ISD varsity sports.
Are you looking for a new vehicle in the near future? If so, be sure to contact Damian Walker over at Freddie Kia. Damian went to the University of Houston and is from Houston. He is Houston through and through. If you're looking for a new vehicle, contact Damian at Freddie Kia. His number is 713-499-9372. No unnecessary upsells, no bells and whistles you don't want, just a car that's perfect for you. Contact Damian Walker at Freddie Kia today, 713-499-9372.
And we're back with Make It Happen with David Lorms, and a big shout out to our friend Jose Madrigal, who has provided the music, his band True Soul, and he is the owner of Studio Fitness in the Heights. So thank you, Jose, for some great listening. We're back with Bryan Kiser, who is a professional gymnastics coach, business coach, best-selling author, and we are answering some questions, or are going to, from Twitter. So thank you for sending your questions. And so the first question is from @Batter. And what's next for Bryan? So what's coming up next for you?
Well, I think I mentioned earlier, I have the ebook that'll be coming out, and it'll be available for free on my website here shortly. It's with the editor now.
And that's bryankiser.me.
Yeah, bryankiser.me, and the name of the ebook is Defining Your Perfect Wave.
Oh, I like that title.
Yeah, like I said, I really like sports, and I really love the water and love surfing. So, and it's kind of keep with my 20. I don't know how many. I'm not even giving that out. How many years it's been since the high school days. My love for waves and surfing. To keep that going. So that's kind of become the theme of about everything I do.
Well, I think that helps people relate, because I'm not a surfer, but I can envision what you're talking about when you relate it to something else.
Well, and if you think about the beauty and the majesty of a wave, I mean, you're talking about something that has the power, the capability to destroy an entire society, yet it's so beautiful and elegant to watch as they roll in.
Right.
And people, they do weddings, they do all kinds of celebrations at the beach for the reason of the sounds of the waves and, looking at the waves. So, yeah, there's a lot to be said for a wave.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to that book. So thank you for sharing that. And we have another question that wants the question is, what is the difference between fear and perception?
Well, fear is something that actually, scares you. The problem with the two is, like I said, when you think of success and you think of being successful, however you define that, then you look at and you try to emulate that definition of success by someone that has it, okay, someone that's already made it.
Right.
So you start seeing things and you start internalizing expectations. And they're internal predispositions that you have in your mind that if you reach that level, if you do that, you're going to have to do these things. These things are going to happen.
Right.
And you're going to have to always keep up with X, Y, Z.
Right.
But that's an internal, predisposed expectation that you set. No one else around you knows about this, although your perception is everybody knows and they're expecting it.
Right.
In reality, no one knows, no one's expecting it, and everyone's wanting to see what you do at that level.
Right.
And by not, going back, by not being authentic, you're going to have that fear of those expectations, which is your own fear, and it will stop you dead in your tracks every time.
Yeah.
Because there's certain things about successful people, and I know that you can point out in your industry, successful people that
Yes.
you don't want to do those things that they do.
No.
You don't want to be the way they are.
Right.
And if you allow yourself to internalize too much, then you'll set expectations that'll say, I don't want that.
Right.
I don't want to be successful. So you have to keep going back to the clarity of yourself and who you are, so that as you become that successful being,
Right.
however you define it, when you become that being, you do the things that are you,
Right.
and the things that you know that you want to do and achieve. That way you keep away from fear, and you also find that it's not so scary.
Right.
It's actually kind of fun.
Yes,
You know?
and I see that, like you said, every day. People trying to emulate and be someone else. They see their success. They're like, "What do you do? I want to do it too." And in my experience, what you're saying is no, build on your own strengths.
Yeah.
Because those are the successes that are going to happen, and make it fun for you.
Right. And no one's going to come into the insurance business and be and do and succeed like David Lorms did. No one's going to do
I
that.
hope not.
Well, even if they came along and they were very successful
No,
at
right.
the level you are,
Yes.
they're going to have to be successful in their way,
In their
or
way.
else it's going to be false. It's going to fall apart.
That's right.
It's going to, it may reach the level, but it'll quickly demise.
Right.
So-
Well, and fear is one of those big things that you have to overcome. So, what is another question is, when is a good time for someone to find a life or business coach?
Well, what I'm finding, since I clarified my own and I've put it out there, what I'm finding is when people come to the point in their life where children have left the house and now they're not quote unquote tied down, held back. They have a sense of freedom because their responsibility of raising the children and what have you is kind of subsided, and now it's oh my God, where have the years gone? What am I supposed to do now? And who am I?
Right.
I'm this job and do these things that these people say that I need to do, and that's not really who I am. And that's one. And the other is people that have been I guess laid off, or
Right. I was just thinking that.
Yeah, they're laid off and they're looking, they're searching, and they're bouncing around different things, and that's when you don't want to give yourself a job.
Right.
And a lot of entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, will take themselves out of work and give themselves a job.
Yes.
And now they don't have a boss at the office. Hey, that's cool, right?
Yes.
Now they have 40 different bosses.
Yeah.
And they don't, they think they're in control, but they don't control anything, because if they want to get paid, they have 40 bosses to answer to and keep all 40 happy. Whereas at the office, in the corporate world, you had one.
Right.
And even though you wear it around like a badge of honor that you're your own person and you run your own business, actually the business runs you. So
Right. I was actually talking with some people last night about that very thing, business coach, and that you should always have a mentor or a business coach, as we said earlier, and it's always time. It's, in my opinion, it's always time to have someone like that to help you and mentor you.
Well, once you get started, and you can attest to this because you have met and worked with many coaches on your journey.
Yes.
So
thankfully,
yes. And so I can tell you right now, all coaches have a coach.
Yes.
All of them have a mentor, and it never stops. Like
Yes.
once you start this process, even the 3 areas that I focus on, just the clarity, the energy, and the influence, those 3 areas are revisited and revisited and revisited again
Yes.
and again and again.
Right.
And each time you have grown to a new level, and so you're able to accomplish and do and enjoy. And I have to throw that in. You have to enjoy life more.
Well, I even think the process with a mentor or a coach is fun because a lot of creativity is involved.
Oh, yeah.
And you really can express yourself. And what do you say to those people that say, I really need a coach, but I just don't have time?
Well, that comes back to what we were talking about with like the Nito Cobains and everything. That guy could have said that too.
Right.
He
Where's
could
your
have said-
passion?
He could have said, I don't have time to go to America and do anything. I've got to stay here and toil and just get my pittance here, in Eastern Europe, and that's just all I can do. Well, if that's all that you have decided you can do, that's all you're going to do.
To me, that says I don't have time for success and I'm scared of it.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, that's what it says
Well,
to
and
me.
it goes back to you're predisposed to internal expectations that you can't.
Right.
For some reason, you can't. Everyone else, there's, you can list a whole host of people that could,
Right.
but for whatever reason, you can't.
Right. I think it's important. And even if you are riding the wave and you are experiencing a tremendous amount of success, I think that's still a good time to hook up with someone that will help you continue to come up with fresh ideas, more passion, more clarity, and as you said, goals change too, and they help you keep those goals on task, I think, right?
They do. And what you'll find from going through that process is no matter the shifts in the wave and how you cut back and revisit the lip and then come back into the valley, no matter how that looks, those people that are around you that you've positioned yourself with and that are feeding off your energy and you feeding off theirs, it produces a much better wave.
Yeah.
Much more predictable. You control it.
Yeah.
You control the speed, the energy, the size. You control every aspect of the wave by just focusing and staying clear on where you're going and how you're doing it. And that has to be done by you, like you said, stay with your coach. Keep going through. Keep working on it. Keep growing. Keep learning.
Right. All this talk about waves makes me want to go to Hawaii.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm thinking, hey, why don't I have a sailboat?
When are we going?
I need a sailboat and a weekend down on Corpus Christi Bay,
Well, Corpus or Hawaii, that's a hard choice, I think.
If you're into, if you want the waves, I'd go to Hawaii.
Yes.
But if you want to enjoy some wind and some waves and enjoy some windsurfing, kite surfing, all that,
Right.
Corpus Christi is like one of the top 10 places in the world to windsurf.
I didn't know that.
Because of the very consistent wind across Corpus Christi Bay. So the X Games is down there all the time. They have a ton of things. Yeah,
That's
very
super.
enjoyable place to have grown up.
I didn't realize that. Yeah. So tell us, how can people get in touch with you, learn more about you?
The website is a perfect way, bryankiser.me. That's BRYANKISER.me.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good way. You can send me an email. You can find me on Twitter at iCoachBizPros. You can find me on Facebook at iCoachBusinessPros.
And you have some blogs on LinkedIn.
I have some blogs on LinkedIn under Bryan Kiser, and you can always go to iCoachBusinessPros.com, and that'll take you to my WordPress site where you can read all my articles and things like that. So.
Sure. Or, and I'll have your information posted on Make It Happen with David Lorms on Facebook. Also my personal Facebook page. So there's no reason not to find you.
Not to find me.
Just Google
I'm everywhere. I signed up on so many things lately, and And every new, I guess that's part of the fun of being a coach is that you are forced. I don't know if you're forced, but you get to, like you said, creativity and have fun. I get to test out all these new apps.
Yeah.
I mean, people send them to me and like, hey, what do you think of this?
That's great.
So,
well, I want to thank you for being here today. You've really enlightened me and hopefully the listeners on the steps of finding success, clarity, defining your passion, energy, setting your goals, and how to influence that to happen, and how to get over your fear of success and identifying whether you have a fear of success. So please visit Bryan or Google him at bryankiser.me. And tune in next week because we have some very special guests, Kelly Johnson and Christina Logan, who are the owner of a Sweet Frog yogurt place, but hear about their compelling story that brought them to that point. And that's all here at kbrzsports.com from 12 to 1 every Wednesday. Thanks for tuning in.